Well,
there it is.
That's it. Done. Caleb dies. Look at Prime's face. Holy shit. You want to get into it?
All right.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Did you do your vocal scales?
Like
Leonard Nimoy?
Leonard Nimoy taught us.
Megatron must be stopped, no matter the cost.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Autopod Decepticast. This is your weekly podcast delivering a minute-by-minute breakdown of the 1986 Transformers movie. And my name is Aaron. I'd like to introduce you to my co-hosts. You know them as the 7th and 14th place contestants on Season 6 of American Idol.
The fix was in. I of course, am Sparkle. That, just one name, like Cher, because it's classy.
You earned that.
I did, and now, spoilers, I'm going to be on the new show, The Bachelor's, with a Z. It's not related to The Bachelor.
Spin-off or not
No,
at all?
unrelated, completely it's an original that's never been seen before. It's me, and there are these birds that compete for my affection. And then I'm like, controversially, whichever one gets kicked off, that's what we have for dinner.
Caleb, you were also on the season 6. Let me ask you, Caleb. So, this was the season with heartthrob Sanjaya Malakar. Was he as cute and sweet and just all around dreamy as he seemed on TV?
I'd like to use a lifeline.
50-50, you call a friend?
All right. Well, you guys were great. You guys were great on the show, but all of my votes went to him. So, hey, I've got by the way, okay, this is episode 21.
That's right.
We've hit the 20s. I don't know if we celebrated that appropriately.
In my head, before we started recording, I was like, let's try to make this a quick episode.
That's a great way to go into it.
This is the Prime Megatron battle.
I know.
You can't just gloss it over. But hang on. So, this is episode 21. We're covering minute 20:01 to the 21-minute mark. Mm-hmm. And before we get into the last episode, a quick note of thanks. iTunes reviewer.
We got a new one?
Doran Chapman, who says, "These guys sure know Transformers."
Cool.
For
Awesome.
realsies.
Yeah.
5 stars.
All right.
Thanks, Doran. You seem like a guy who would probably never be out of the house without an amazing, unique button-up t-shirt or tattoo. So, thank you for your support. Last episode. So, Dinobots, outmatched versus Devastator.
Pretty soundly rebuffed.
Yeah.
I don't know why that was so shocking to me. Kick
As
their
a kid,
fucking
it
asses.
didn't bother me really, but watching it now, I'm like, wow, that really didn't go well at all.
No, it was a dismal failure.
You think Autobots could have brought some more guys to deal with this? Also, it goes back to that. As shitty as they are being the Dinobots, Optimus Prime, on the other hand, is a badass.
Badass. Yeah, it's so awesome. Like, I know I said this before, but just watching him kick ass is just so satisfying and enjoyable.
Well, we'll see some more of that this episode. If he was here at the very beginning, this war would be over already.
Yeah.
But at any rate, so where we left off, Prime was in truck mode, driving towards some Decepticons, knocking some out of the way, others dodging. And at a certain point right at the top, Prime transformed into the air with rocket boosters coming from his thighs. He flies some 100 feet in the air.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And he blasts Ramjet, Thundercracker, and Soundwave.
Yep. He turns right, left.
The flames that come out of his thighs are just so awesome looking.
Yeah.
I don't know why or how. And I also like the way his trailer just kind of falls behind. So he blasts those 3 guys heartily, then kind of lands heroically at
He
around
sticks
2006.
the landing.
That's right.
Yeah.
It is kind of interesting how it like does show it kind of like sinking into the ground at 2007.
Not many people know this. He was a Cybertronian level Olympic gymnast.
You want to take that joke again?
Nope.
All right,
We're
moving
gonna
on.
leave it in, just like that. So lands heroically. The illustration is kind of slightly from behind, and he is just fucking blasted.
Yeah, and then 2012 is whenever he hits Dirge and Shrapnel. Shrapnel really gets fucked up in this one.
They just
He
keep
takes the
putting
hits,
him in a
man.
line of danger. Does it seem like there's a little scoliosis or something happening here? I
Well,
love the pose and the illustration,
yeah,
but something
if you-
seems off about it.
If you
at
really
2010.
pause it, like at 2010, and also even before, his head is not where it should be. It's a really like just strange configuration that again works in motion, but if you stop and look at it, very strange like configuration of how his body moves. Also, his rifle in this is different. I can't get a handle on what's supposed to be happening with it.
It's side. It's kind of he's holding it like at a vertical.
Yeah,
See,
he's like side arming.
Well, I think because the rear end of his gun, even in the toy, has that massive back end on it, and if he was to hold that gun, try to hold that gun straight, he's incapable
even though
of holding
he
it straight.
does that flying through the air seconds before.
He was holding his arm straight,
but he
while
wasn't
was
holding
doing
it double-handed that way. Yeah, he was kind of holding it. Well, I don't
Anyway,
know.
it's not a big deal. It's just that it looks weird.
Maybe he's holding it, and you never really see him hold it double-handed up until now either. So
Yeah.
maybe it's just to the level of concentration required. He's just like every shot
He's just-
counts.
it's like it's Rambo style, dude.
I do also love the next shot. It's essentially almost like gun first-person perspective
Doom.
view.
It's
and-
basically like Doom.
Yeah, and to Ryan's point, he blasts Dirge and Kickback. And
Oh, that is kickback. I said shrapnel.
That's okay.
kickback.
Shrapnel
Drops.
gets it too.
Yeah, he hit
It's
shrapnel in a
alright.
truck mode.
That's Kickback. I mean, Kickback had his goddamn head crushed.
Did he just
earlier,
kill?
so-
Did he just kill all of them?
No.
Severely debilitated, I would say,
Okay.
with the exception of Soundwave, which seems like a weird. I don't know, whatever. So Prime steps through the forcefully opened entrance to the city where he finds Megatron.
Which the light and shadow in this is just so awesome. Like again, we keep saying how much the animation's cool, but like at 2015, on both Megatron and Prime, the shadows and cell animation are so cool. Like it's very dynamic.
Absolutely. So they exchanged some dialogue. Ryan, do you want to do? Oh, I think Caleb should do Optimus.
Oh,
and you
Okay,
should do
I need this.
Megatron.
I need to have.
I should do Megatron?
I need to have the paper in front of me though, so I can. One shall stand, one shall fall.
Why do you throw away your life so recklessly?
That's a question you should ask yourself, Megatron.
No, I'll crush you with my bare hands. I went British.
Okay. Doesn't he say okay?
I was kind of hoping you would do the Optimus Prime voice you did last week. Where
I'm
you're like,
trying.
One shall stand,
No,
one
no,
shall
no.
fall.
That's just irritating to the listeners.
So, as I mentioned last week, it's obviously we have the benefit of following this movie along at this pace. And as a kid, I just never put together that was the same opening that
I
was
didn't
ripped
either.
open by a Devastator, that this was Megatron's entryway into the city. I still don't quite understand his end game. Why is getting into the city so important? I guess maybe just to kill all the Autobots. And once
guess.
he kills all, I mean, they've destroyed the city pretty good.
Yeah.
You'd think that'd be enough of a goal. Like they've cut off the energon supply of the Autobots, so they could just buck up and get out of there. But I guess, the goal is just kill them all.
Yeah, I mean, you might as well push it as far as you can. And yeah, I never, as a kid, didn't put it together that was the hole that Devastator had made. But when watching it now, that's where I figured it out.
Right. So this is also the part, some of the biggest quotes in the movie. One shall stand, one shall fall. That's amazing. So you knew that this was going to be the ultimate battle. And it was even more heightened by the commercials. Do you guys remember the commercials for this movie?
Not
at
really.
all as a kid. We should put some up on the website and maybe tweet some out. But I think the fact that you knew it was going to be an ultimate battle is partially like the marketing that was tied to it. Because I remembered as a kid feeling like somebody was going to die. And I think that's basically, I copied some of the lines down. Like things that, like they would say things like, this is the final confrontation between Optimus Prime and Megatron. And then some said battle to death. And they'd always focus on Megatron's cracked face. It happens later when he's like, "It's over, Prime."
Which is
So you
kind of
knew
a
something
spoiler.
happened.
Like, honestly, you never do that really in a trailer now.
Probably
I don't
not,
think.
no,
The
probably
Japanese
not.
trailer, they show Unicron transforming. Like,
Although one of the selling points, I guess, is that one of them is going to die, so you got to see
I guess,
it
but
happen.
I don't think a lot of kids knew that, judging by the fact that every time this movie is discussed, everyone talks about crying children in the theater.
Right.
That was a thing?
Yeah, it was a big thing.
Wow.
Allegedly, yeah. Supposedly, like, some people's worlds were totally rocked.
It was like child PTSD.
But we're getting ahead of ourselves, probably a smidge.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Spoiler.
also, I was going to say that, like, even the short versions of the ads are basically like, go see Transformers the movie. Beyond good, beyond evil, beyond your wildest imagination. Will Prime die?
Oh my God.
So we all thought something was going to happen.
All signs point to yes.
Something. So also the illustrations of this part, so many layers of
Oh, so
shading
good, yeah.
as
They
Prime
really
is
give it the
going on,
visual-
a lot of lighting effects.
They really give it the visual gravitas that like this scene coming up deserves.
Some scenes are just drawn better than others.
Oh yeah. Even in this upcoming battle, there's some scenes or some parts where I'm like, "Ugh, that doesn't look great."
It's just the layers, yeah. I don't know how they decide which ones get the time.
Yeah, 2017 is what we're looking at with Optimus Prime, like a 3/4 shot or whatever. But like even the shading on his windows or his windshield look really cool.
I mean, yeah, it looks reflective of a torn up environment that's around him. I'm assuming that Nelson Shin probably makes that call and is like, this is a moment where we have to have these guys looking as good as possible. This is a big deal. And, slack on this because it's a fast action sequence
we can
whatever.
gloss over this part. He's had some experience doing the cartoon. He knows what he can get by with.
Right. Even Megatron looks great. I mean,
Yeah.
the animation model is perfect. The shading looks great.
And that, not to, Orson Welles moment, but like Orson Welles kind of pioneered that looking up at a character where you like see the ceiling and it makes the character look very large and powerful, and like he was one of the first ones to do that.
Those were normally harder shots to get because because of the studio system.
Yeah.
There were not ceilings.
Well, that
For
and
the
also
sets.
you couldn't get low enough. Like then when he was filming
Citizen Kane.
Kane, good God. When he was filming that, he actually tore the floor out of the studio so that they could get the shot from that low.
Wow. Yeah, he's
I
an
think
innovator.
that's probably true.
He's an innovator.
I think that I'm not making that up.
This next shot where Prime is saying, that's a question you should ask yourself. Again, just the shading. I mean, we've covered it, obviously. And also the angle and just the way that his body moves. And I've got more actually tied directly to this, don't let me forget.
Okay.
In script deviations, there's a reason why that shot is the way it is that was cut from the movie.
Oh.
But at any rate, so he says that. Megatron, I guess, clicks a safety.
That's what I was going to bring up too. Yeah, at 2027, it's kind of a throwaway thing. Megatron touches his fusion cannon, and you hear a click, which I think, to me, means that he twists that dial and it puts it on safety.
Right, I guess so. And
Which is a weird thing to do and never address ever. But it's like, it's just a weird detail that I'm like, that's neat. I don't get it, but I like it, I guess.
And as a kid, I feel like I picked up that, he's like turning his cannon off. He could just not pull the trigger of the cannon or set it aside if he's truly
figurative
being
mental
honorable. But
Well, we'll see in a moment. He's not.
right. His crush you with my bare hands thing doesn't last very long.
That's right.
So he clicks the safety. He lunges towards Prime. They're kind of starting a Greco-Roman wrestling thing right off the bat here. Some
2034.
It's like some static electricity.
sizzles as they hit the floor, and then we'll have Hot Rod running
God
into
damn it,
frame.
Hot Rod.
And so Hot Rod runs into frame, and he's like, "I gotta help Prime."
Yeah.
Stay away, lad. That's Prime's fight.
I
And
guess. I mean,
Hot Rod doesn't really listen.
No.
but
They
we're on
never
that- We're on
listens to
that in the
Cup.
next minute. but-
Yeah.
if I were Cup though, I'd be like
It is a weird thing about
Grabbing him.
I get it. No, I would say Cup would be like, yeah, let's help him out.
kind of. Like, I have two
I get
minds
it.
about it, too.
Yeah,
but
I get it.
Knowing what happens.
Well, as we get into, I think it is this one on script deviations. There is a little bit more background to why they wouldn't be able to necessarily help Optimus Prime.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think obviously he's saying that's Prime's fight. It's like this, they're having an honorable duel of swords to the death.
And we want to see that.
And we
don't want to see. We don't want to see anybody get in the way of this fight.
Rod.
Whoa. That's right.
So Megatron is thrown against a steel wall. Mm-hmm. He kind of shakes it off.
This is the part where the animation's not great.
It's not as good.
2043, he picks up, I guess, just a metal like chunk that is a sharp like spear, basically.
Right.
And then he hurls it at Prime. God, like Jesus. At 2047, the spear hits Prime in the side, and it's pretty gruesome.
Yeah, it's kind of takes him in the abdomen. It knocks him back. Megatron kind of goes against...
Just instantly goes back on his promise.
It doesn't work. That wasn't very...
At 2048...
I'm sure that Prime didn't trust him.
No.
But, and Prime also probably didn't care. So, Megatron decides to use his fusion cannon. Prime dodges the blast, although it kind of looks like it maybe just singed him.
Prime set his gun down.
Yeah, like, I don't know why.
Yeah, it does. Because you know what? I'll have to check the script deviations. Maybe there's a reason for that, or maybe it's because he said, "I'll do it with my bare hands," so he put his gun down. But you don't see it.
No, it's not really addressed.
But you'll get back to it later. So he takes a couple shots. Prime runs at Megatron at 2051. Prime just gives him the hook of the century and knocks him into the wall again, knocks his arm cannon off, and essentially knocks him down for a second. Some debris falls on the arm cannon. And then just, I guess, what's the word for this? The movie-making term, where it's just a random thing in a random place to move the story along?
I think you're referring to a MacGuffin, although that's not really what this is, but...
Okay.
And this is, he picks up basically a lightsaber. Nelson Shin, animator of the lightsaber in the Star Wars movies.
He's like, hey, this is a good idea.
But
why not?
This is at 2058, but also in the script, this is not really deviation, it's just in the script it says he takes a laser dagger from his boot, where I'm like, is he Leroy Brown? Bad Leroy Brown. Sorry, the full title.
Welcome our special guest commentator, Jim Croce.
That's right.
It's Croce Cast.
That's the next one.
But in this one, it looks like he just picks it up from the rubble.
Yeah, it does not look like it's in his boot.
Which is like, also, BTW, he's not wearing boots.
Right. So he recovers, or as Meg was recovering, by the way, Prime pulled the... I don't got time to say Megatron.
I refer to him as Megs in my notes.
I meant to say Megs. That's cool. But thanks for calling it out. But Prime pulled the shard from his abdomen as Megatron was pulling that knife. So in our final seconds, he lights up the laser sword. He charges at Prime, and really kind of right at that 21-minute mark, you can see that he kind of nails him.
Mm-hmm. Right in the same wound where he hit him with the spear.
Right, exactly.
Which, I wonder if he's going to keep at that.
It seems like he's established a weak point here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we'll see in further episodes.
That'll be a laugh riot.
Yeah, absolutely. So that brings us to the end of this minute. Do we want to do voice actors or the deviations?
Let's do the voice actors, and then we can do the...
Okay. The only thing I do, I'm gonna, if there's not a new voice actor, I'm gonna take the time to catch up on people that maybe didn't have a voice in the movie, but their characters are represented. Mm-hmm. And I'll hit two real quick. We actually did talk about Clive Reville as Kickback, but I fell across some interesting trivia randomly, is that he voiced Emperor Palpatine in the original Empire Strikes Back. Whoa. And then he was replaced. His voice was basically overdubbed by the George Lucas team with how do you pronounce that guy's name? Ian McDiarmid? I don't know. He played the Emperor in Return of the Jedi and in the prequels. And once they kind of re-released the original movies, they just overdubbed his voice on top of this guy's voice.
So in the theatrical release of Empire, it was this guy, Clive's voice.
Right.
And in the re-releases, they just did the actor.
Mm-hmm.
That's all right. Whatever.
All right, whatever.
I don't know why you wouldn't just have the actor to begin with.
Well, maybe they hadn't cast him. I can't remember in Return of the Jedi if the Emperor
You mean
has
Empire?
a real or I'm sorry, yeah, Empire. Does the Emperor have a physical presence?
No,
He's just a
projection
hologram.
only.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. So then the other voice actor is for Dirge, and he was voiced by a man named George Bud Davis, and he has an interesting
Call me
backstory.
Bud.
That's right. And he's got a kind of an interesting backstory. On Transformers, he actually voiced Dirge, Metroplex, and Predaking, and also a famous character known as Produce Thrower.
What are you talking about?
Some guy throwing produce at the Autobots.
Oh, I thought it was a robot.
That was just his credit. His credit was Produce Thrower. But unlike our other featured actors, he wasn't really a voice actor. He was more of a character actor in a number of minor roles, including Klingon Assassin Number 1 on Star Trek The Next Generation. But his biggest role, and I've never seen this movie, maybe you've seen this movie. This is up your alley.
I've seen most movies.
The 1976 movie, The Town That Dreaded Sundown.
I love that movie, yeah.
Have you really
that is
seen
based on a real story of a real murderer.
Well, he played the Phantom Killer in that movie.
The Phantom of Texarkana is who that movie is based on.
So
Who was never caught. Might still be out there today. Lock your doors.
1976 is when the movie was made. I don't know when.
It was shortly before that. It was like
Okay.
2 years before that.
So there's a huge
Or
list.
maybe it was the 60s, I'm sorry. But anyway, it was not that long before it.
Gotcha. Well, maybe I'll watch it. But so that's George Bud Davis. But acting wasn't even really his thing. His thing was stunt. He was a stunt man and a stunt coordinator.
This guy's done it all.
His list of movies that he's done stunts for is a million miles
That's
long.
where he got the name Bud. The stuntman gave him that name. That's a stuntman name.
For sure.
It is in quotes.
Okay, that's right.
But
I love it in movie credits when I see people's like nickname in quotes in the middle of it. I'm like, well, that guy's got stories.
I guess it's better than George quote pedophile Davis.
Yeah, that guy didn't get a lot of work.
So
Kitty Fiddler Davis.
so
He builds violins for children.
I don't know why I don't get invited to the kids' parties. I made this tiny violin.
It's a kid fiddle.
Come on, children.
so some of the television shows and movies that he either did stunts or coordinated stunts for included Chips, Twilight Zone, Manhunter, King Kong Lives, Police Academy 5, Assignment Miami Beach,
So all just direct to video.
The Blob, Child's Play, Who's Harry Crumb starring
Oh,
John Candy.
Mr. John Candy.
Tango and Cash, Navy SEALs, Men at Work, Nothing But Trouble. Remember that movie?
If you go through a town, your car breaks down, you might find nothing but trouble. That movie is bizarre.
And also, if you are a hip-hop group from Oakland that ends up in a random small town, as long as you have got an amazing song,
Let's put on a show, and the judge will be like, dismissed.
get out of it. But if you're a banker,
Oh, he does not like he doesn't cotton to that kind of person.
The Naked Gun 2.5, Hook, Tales from the Crypt, Wayne's World 2, Forrest Gump, Contact, Austin Powers, Castaway, and Glorious Bastards.
Jesus.
Those are just the ones I knew. There was like 4 times the amount of movies.
Wow.
Which made me think about... Like, he had the number of credits you see most voice actors have, but this guy is getting the shit kicked out of him for every single one of these episodes. So, anyway, he appears to still be alive.
Yeah, I mean, there were some pretty recent movies.
Yeah, Glorious
So-
Bastards.
Yay! You mentioned Naked Gun 2, which I think about this...
And a half.
Yes, that's right. Thank you. I think about this more often than I should, but I'm like, those movies have a murderer in them.
Yeah.
It's weird to think about.
Alleged.
Nah, he did it.
I mean, not guilty. Lost the civil trial.
That's right. No.
A lot of implications in this conversation.
Yep, a lot of ins, a lot of outs. I got one more. You mentioned Dirge. You do? Do you have something? Oh, all right. You mentioned Dirge, and this is like a digression that I just came across looking up like stuff about Dirge-gression. Caleb shakes his head.
Caleb's just ready to move on.
That's
I
right.
think he's already in trouble with his wife right now.
Hey.
He looked at the mic all scary.
Hey. Whoa. Let's walk that back. Anyway, I was looking up because the Coneheads, I don't even remember making this note. I was probably several martinis in. But Yes, one of the things, a way to remember the Conehead names, this must be from the TF Wiki, is that the Coneheads, their names are things that actually exist, actual words, as opposed to the other Seekers like Starscream, because their names are Ramjet, Thrust, and Dirge, which are real things like Thrust, I think we all know what that's about. Dirge is a lament for the dead or a song, and then Ramjet is
that's about.
That's right, that's for you, yeah. What? What happened?
Ramjet.
Where am I? Oh, that's my name.
West says to you all the time.
Okay. That's right.
on mic.
Like, do it like that. Ram that jet dick.
Or just Ramjet, Ram.
In that voice, that's very
Jet.
That's sexy.
And then you sing a dirge for that pussy afterwards.
Oh, that pussy. I came in it. That's the song, and it's over. Woo! We have gone far afield. Yeah,
So
that's all I got.
So wait, what's a ramjet again?
A ramjet is a style of engine. It uses airflow intake to create acceleration.
Okay. Hey.
Above Mach 6 is whenever it's most efficient.
Okay. Great.
Yep.
Moving on.
Do you guys know what time it is?
It is 3:15.
Script deviations.
So, in reference to his battle with the Decepticons in the script mentioned that Optimus Prime is spinning and whirling like the Sundance Kid.
That's not in mine.
He takes a lot out.
What?
That's what it says.
That is very odd.
In reference to his truck charge, it says, like a power back, he transforms into truck mode and barrels into them, sending Decepticons flying around like shards of glass hit by a 45.
That's a real mixed metaphor.
Why didn't they say shards of glass hit by a
Like
Mack
simile.
truck?
Yeah.
Also, it's like we start off with a football analogy, and then all of a sudden we're into guns.
We're Wild West.
There's a lot of stuff going on. At some point,
What's the football reference?
Power. What was it?
I'm assuming a power back.
Isn't that a football thing?
Oh yeah.
I'm surprised I would even say that, knowing as much
sorry.
about football as I do.
I think it is.
All
No,
right.
I just glossed over. I just wasn't paying attention.
So at some point, he becomes engulfed by Decepticons, and we, the viewer, are meant to believe that his attack is foiled. Basically, there's this
pile
Megatron
on.
turns, and there's like a scrum of Decepticons on top of him.
That's for our UK listeners.
or Australian.
That's right.
And from which Prime then smashes through, and then he engages Megatron in the confrontation. And back to what we were talking about earlier, when that scene where Prime is up close and it looks like he's kind of lifting himself up. I just lifted myself up, so vocally, hopefully,
think I
that came
picked it up.
across. So he lifts himself up.
Okay.
And the reason that happens is because as they were engaging in the initial dialogue, Dirge took a sneaky leap at Optimus
had that too,
Prime.
yeah.
And while this happens, Prime basically stiff arms him, another football reference, turns him upside down with one hand, and then drives him head first into the rocky ground,
spikes
letting him crumple and
There you
fall. And then that's when, and so that happens, and then Prime
stands
lifts
up.
himself up and says, "That's a question you should ask
I
yourself,
had that.
Megatron."
I had that too. Where there's just such a funny image, and in mine, I think it said he grabs his leg and then pile drives him into the ground.
He should have done like an underdog villain type of thing where he like tried to shake the loose change out of his upside down pockets. But and then the script also comments on that electricity that encompasses them, but it attributes them. It says that when they first clashed, they ran into the wall and hit some electrical panels and causing them to short circuit. And so the script describes it as a fiery nimbus of crackling electrical energy.
Man, somebody was like combing the thesaurus when they were writing this.
The only other note I have on script deviations is that early on, apparently, like what we don't see. So this is written in, and it happened. So I guess it happened from a canon perspective, but we didn't see it because it's during that scene when Hot Rod's like, "We got to help Prime," and you can kind of see him scuffling. But Megatron attempts to kick Prime in the throat.
Yeah.
And Prime catches the foot and hurls him into the metal pile, and that we see the reaction of that, and that's where Megatron finds the shard. So that's what I've got.
So sorry, listeners. I forgot my script at home, but I think I do remember the parts that are deviations on this, and tough putting this into like a continuity thing because stuff gets shifted around in the movie, but there is a part in the script where in between Devastator and this battle, kind of, we see Ultra Magnus and a bunch of other Autobots where he's actually in truck mode and has them all piled onto his trailer because he's a car carrier.
Oh, he's hauling them around.
Yeah, and he brings them up to Devastator. They all offload and start fighting Devastator, and then, run away. It's not a very good scene, which is probably why it's not in the movie.
So they show up, fight him a little bit. And then run away.
That's right. So, yeah, they're a storyboard. They at least storyboarded it. You can find it online if you look.
Actually, okay, I have seen those some of those storyboards. Yeah, that's right. I think Ultra Magnus fires some rockets at him or something. Okay, gotcha. And I think maybe one or two of those guys, that might be where Trailbreaker or somebody dies.
Yeah, or Smokescreen or something, yeah.
Gotcha.
That's the only other deviation I had. You covered the other ones.
Gotcha. Well then, Caleb, have you got any deviations?
No.
All right. Hey, we made it fast for you. So next episode, guys, the fight continues. Mm-hmm. We're gonna hear some ocular threats.
That's right.
A plea for mercy, and some fucking dumbass is gonna.
I wonder who it is.
All right, everybody. Thanks for listening, and thank you for your support. Please tell your friends. We are on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and TuneIn. Follow us on our social media, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, all of them at Autopod Decepticast. Mm-hmm. And also, please don't forget to visit our web presence at autopoddecepticast.com, where honestly, we're kind of keeping a running encyclopedia of all things Transformers the movie on an episode-by-episode basis. So there's a lot of great content there that kind of deviates off of the show.
Yeah, and if you do just listen through a podcast aggregator, you go to the site, because on each of the episodes, you usually put something up there. Like on the last episode, I just put the Chappie speech from Iron Eagle is on that page.
I love that speech.
You got the touch.
And if you're an iTunes user, please rate and subscribe. Listen, when you do a search for Transformers, our name doesn't even show up yet.
Why?
I don't understand why our name doesn't show up. And like joesautogaraage.com shows up. And I you know what'll help? Commenting and rating 5 stars.
It'll really help us out.
So I definitely would appreciate it.
But also subscribe to Joe's Auto Garage, because it's for all the garage talk you can stomach.
Did you guys listen to that episode where he talked about how to stiff customers?
I did. He was like, "Oh, you need a new Johnson rod in that car. Oh, the Johnson rod, you can't deal without that."
Basically, if you're an auto body shop owner and a lady comes in needing car fixing,
do you think that
gold mine, baby?
That's right, because ladies don't know.
Do you think that his popped up in the SEO because it involves automobiles and deception?
Oh, we got it. We got there.
That's why.
Let's end on the high note.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks, Bob.
Joe.
Oh.
Thanks, Joe.
Thanks, Joe.
Bye.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Autopod Decepticast After Dark. That's right, and I need you, all of my ladies and gentlemen, take off your pants, take off your panties and your underoos, and just let's get sexy with it. As Darkwing Duck used to say, let's get dangerous. Because you know what it means whenever Aaron and Caleb are outside of the room. It means it is APDC After Dark. APDC AD Autopod Decepticast After Dark. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, now that we've got all of our gear just sticking out there in the wind for anybody to walk by and see, they can just touch it. What do we have on the docket today? Well, how about we talk about a little bit of let me give myself a drink. Hold on just one second. Oh, that's good. What's that you say? Oh, I'm just drinking myself a gin martini. Because that is the sexiest drink that's ever been. Hey, heads up, motherfuckers. Just because you put some alcoholic liquid into a cone-shaped glass does not make it a motherfucking martini. Stop putting that shit on your little pop-up menus on the tables. The Appletini was the downfall of civilization can be all traced back to it. And you know what? And now, look at the state of our country. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, didn't mean to get political. It's because all races, creeds, and belief systems are welcome here at APDCAD, where all we care about is fucking. Oh, that was my third orgasm of the day. I'm looking to squeeze in 7 more. Ladies, gentlemen, are you feeling me? Yeah, you are, because you're all sexy out there. That's right. Oh, how about, I know what you've all been clamoring for. You say, hey, Ryan, we would listen to you just sit here and read the phone book. Adams. I don't have a phone book because those are things that do not exist anymore. Why do they still send those to my house? Why every goddamn month am I getting a motherfucking phone book delivered to my porch that's going to just sit there for, ever? Until the next one comes, and I'm finally like, God damn it. Basically, they're just saying to me, hey, Ryan, why don't you recycle this for me? Why are we still printing these things? What the fuck is happening? All right. What else bothers me? Jeans without any pockets on the butt? What is happening with that? That's no good. Let's see what else. What other sexy problems do we have? There was number 4. All right. Now I'm a little bit sleepy, but it's okay. We're going to power through it, ladies and gentlemen, just for you. Let's see. We had all agreed to meet at 2 o'clock. It is now 2:25, and Caleb has yet to show up. This motherfucker right here texts me an hour before we're supposed to meet, and it's all like, hey, can we push this back to 4? No, motherfucker, we can't push it back to 4. I have planned my schedule. 2:26 now. Only 26 minutes late with nary a text from this guy. Let's text him right now. SOOO question mark. Is that passive aggressive enough, ladies and gentlemen? I think so. Oh, here's another gripe. Why does my phone want to randomly capitalize words in the middle of my sentences? Fuck's that about? I don't need that. Why would I ever want to do that? And it's not even like their proper names. It's stuff like that. Speaking of the word that, why does my phone want to correct that's to T space HATS? To hats? Whoever wrote that ever? So as you can see, APDCAD has kind of just turned into Ryan's bitch session. Maybe we need to reel that back in a little bit, walk that back just a little bit, ladies and gentlemen. I apologize. We forgot how to be our sexiest selves. We put our phones onto vibrate so that we do not interrupt the flow of the podcast if we ever have a podcast, because it is now 2:27. I'm gonna be finished with this martini by the time this piece of shit gets in here. And by piece of shit, I mean one of my best friends ever. Of course, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see what's in the news. According to Uberfacts, the right testicle of most men is larger and sits above the left. So most of us are right-testied. Speaking of being right or left-handed, ladies and gentlemen, did you know that about 90% of people are right-handed? Nobody really understands why left-handed people even still exist. It should have evolutionarily been bred out of us. You left-handed freaks. So why are you sticking around? Because you're stubborn? Is that what we're talking about? Left-handed people are stubborn, but they're also very sexy. Yeah, you jerk that dick. You rub that clit with your left hand all over the place. You make it all wet and sloppy. Yeah, that's what I like. Did you know that most animals are split about 50-50 as to right or left-handed? Humans are an anomaly, much like parrots. Most parrots are left-handed. Or left-footed, I should say. What the fuck is that about? It is now 2:31. I'm going to kill him. You know what? I'll just say it. I like a nice wedge salad. Big old chunk of iceberg, blue cheese all over the top of it. Yeah, nutritionally it has almost no value whatsoever, but I like the crunch. Maybe a few bacon bits on top of that. Wedge. Oh, I think the motherfucker in question just walked through the door. This hostility will not stand. Here they come. All right. Ta-ta for now. TTFN. Ladies and gentlemen, rub your pussy, stroke your dick, and bye-bye.
Kind of a camaraderie that existed
sure.
between the groups.